knowingly or willingly advocating, abetting, advising, or teaching the overthrow of the destruction of the government of the United States or any state by force or violence is prohibited and is punishable by a fine of not more than $20,000 or imprisonment for more than 20 years or both. This statute is violated by the publication, circulation, and or distribution of matter advocating the forcible overthrow of the government, as well as organizing a society for that purpose, and the same punishment is applicable. Section 2387 of the same title provides for a $10,000 fine or 10 years in imprisonment or both for whoever with intent to interfere with, impair, or influence the loyalty, morale, or discipline of the military advises, counsels, urges, or attempts to cause insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty by any member of the military. Distribution of offensive literature with the same intent is also a violation. The statute has been held to be applicable in peacetime as well as when a state of war exists.
Congress, in its wisdom, saw fit to provide an out for a certain number of people who would otherwise cause a great deal of trouble for the armed forces. And Section 6J of the 1967 draft law states, "Nothing contained in this title shall be construed to require any person to be subject to combatant training and service in the armed forces of the United States who, by reason of religious training and belief, is conscientiously opposed to participation in war in any form." The session tonight is mostly about conscientious objection, the people to whom this section of the law pertains.
The CO, the 1O, is the guy who doesn't want to have any part either in the designing of the weapon.
Counseling means finding out what each man feels about serving in the Army and fighting in Vietnam, and then explaining his choices to him. We help anyone who comes in, even though we think men should choose not to go, and many of us have already refused induction.
Like, you can go in there and say, I'm not a member of a religious sect. Did that make any difference? You know, did that maybe make you turn me down? And if they say yes, then you can use that in the appeal, because you can just say they're prejudiced.
You bleat about this country being in serious trouble. Well, wake up, Doc. This country's already over the brink. It's down the drain. You talk about an America that no longer exists. Sit down, Doc.
What did you say?
I said sit down. Those are our commandos out there. They're in the building now.
They're wrecking the place.
Don't try it, Doc. Don't be a hero with a broken head.
You know what they'll do to all of you for doing this, huh?
Sure. Nothing. They never do. We're legal dissenters, didn't you know?
On many of our nation's platforms, radical speakers make a well-paid living going around, many of them subsidized by the communists, telling our young people what's wrong with America.
On such a platform, we have seen many self-proclaimed communists and revolutionaries, radical spokesmen for various groups and professions, and sometimes even prominent political figures, all joining in a movement with which the subversive communists plan to destroy America.
And why do so many of our young people fall for it? Some of it, of course, is mass hysteria, not stopping to think things through. Not stopping to analyze the character or the motives of who's talking. A typical line from such rabble-rousers is,
"If America don't come round, America should be burnt down."
Why do they swallow a line like this? Well, they think they want to be different. They want to do their own thing, lead their own life, which too often means wreck their own life. It is true there are things wrong in this country. There are social and economic inequities. They're being leveled off more and more all the time. But not by scenes like these.
And not by our friend John here, so far. In fact, he's a prime example of what's wrong today. To begin with, he's a victim of irresponsible parentage. He has missed the stabilizing influence of a good home and religious upbringing. He has been listening to the wrong people. He has gone in for drugs, loose morals, and wanton destruction. He blames it on what's wrong with America. Well, maybe it's time some of us should start reminding him what's right with America.